Maybe I didn't call you because I didn't want to be involved in whatever these bitches is trying to say about your...
We all know that Mendici never went to Jasmine's vault. We know that.
Really? I have to keep it above. I don't know that.
Well, that's bull because you telling me some...
That's exactly why I said, bitch, why you ain't call me? Rasheeda's voice trembled not from rage, but from something deeper, something raw, something that had been festering in silence for far too long, when Yandy, in a calm, yet detached tone, replied, maybe I didn't call you because I didn't want to be involved. It was clear this wasn't just another hip-hop feud. This wasn't about love gone wrong. This was personal. The tension in the air was palpable. No flashy outfits, no light-hearted jabs. The last threads of a decade-long friendship were being torn apart under the harsh glare of studio lights. Rasheeda and Yandy, once pillars of strength, always graceful, always loyal, had survived the turbulence of reality TV together, untouchable in the eyes of their fans, but loyalty is fragile. When tested, it bends, and betrayal shatters it completely. Tonight, their bond was disintegrating piece by piece. The silence was deafening. No dramatic music, no shouting matches. Just two women staring at each other, their years of shared history hanging between them. The kind of silence that is suffocating, stifling. Yandy was the first to speak, her voice cracking ever so slightly. I just feel like we needed a moment to talk without everybody there when someone on Love and Hip Hop asks to cut the cameras. You know it's serious, but the cameras didn't stop rolling, capturing every unvarnished moment, the unraveling of a sisterhood. Rasheeda's response was deliberate. Her crossed arms, her hard expression, said it all. What's going on? Her voice was flat, even a storm waiting to break. They sat opposite each other, not as friends catching up, but as soldiers bracing for combat. And then Yandy dropped the bombshell, mentioning Erica Banks in passing. The name had no business in this conversation, yet there it was. It wasn't a slip, it was calculated, the first dagger planted with precision. Rasheeda's face changed in an instant. What little hope for reconciliation there was vanished. It wasn't just about the betrayal. It was about the lack of loyalty. That was the unforgivable part. And hearing it from you.
So at the end of the day, I'm not mad about it. I got too much of a blessed, beautiful life ahead of me, but I also have a load of issues and problems in life that I got a life on. And this right here, it's not even worth arguing about at this point. Guess what? We could say, you know what? Me and Yandy, we had a little discrepancy, but at the end of the day, we got past it. Whether it takes our friendship level to a close friend level, or it may take that friendship level and leave it where it's at, or it may say, you know what? I'm cool on her, she cool on me, but we could be cordial.
Whatever it is, the weird energy
from Yandy, it stung. I didn't know, Rasheeda muttered, but even as the words left her lips, she knew it wasn't enough. Ignorance wasn't an excuse, not in the court of public opinion. Yandy pressed on, dropping another bomb. I heard the classic move in a Love and Hip Hop argument: plant the seed, deflect responsibility. But Rasheeda wasn't backing down anymore. Her patience had worn thin, her expression hardening. This wasn't just a disagreement. The invisible code that had bound them for years had been broken. And Yandy, whether she realized it or not, had crossed a line she could never uncross. But it wasn't Yandy's careless words that cut the deepest. It was what she said next. We were never that close. Those words hit harder than any betrayal, more profound than any rumor. We were never that close. Rasheeda had considered Yandy her sister. A bond forged not just in shared experiences, but in mutual trust. To hear Yandy so easily dismiss it was like a punch to the gut. And in that moment, Rasheeda wasn't angry. She wasn't upset. She was heartbroken. The kind of heartache that comes from realizing someone you loved, someone you trusted, didn't feel the same way. It wasn't anger, it was sorrow. The crushing sadness of knowing that what you believed to be true wasn't real. Relationships in reality TV often appear to be nothing more than public spectacles, giggles, parties, group hugs. But the quiet, intimate moments, the whispered confessions, the late-night phone calls are the foundation of true loyalty. Those moments are unseen by the cameras. The things that matter most don't get captured. Rasheeda had always stood by Yandy, even when things got tough. She had been there when accusations were hurled. They had been each other's support, but now it felt like a lie. It was as if Rasheeda had given more of herself, trusted more deeply, and loved more fully. Yandy, on the other hand, seemed to handle it all with an almost indifferent nonchalance. As the tension mounted, the change was clear to everyone. This wasn't just a fight. This was real, gut-wrenchingly real. Later, fans would call this one of the rawest moments in love and hip-hop history. Not because of the shouting, not because of the drama, but because of the silence. Heartbreak doesn't make noise. It's the quiet that speaks the loudest. I never said you were my best friend, Yandy said, her voice now trembling. I said you were a friend, but Rasheeda didn't need Yandy's words. She had heard everything Yandy had not said over the years. The invitations that never came, the calls that went unanswered, the space that grew between them, brick by brick. Maybe it was always meant to end this way. Maybe our time together was just a season, and now it was over. But that knowledge didn't make the pain any less real. In the end, there were no apologies, no tearful reconciliations. Rasheeda sat there, fighting back the tears, trying to hold on to a friendship that had already slipped away, Yandy avoiding. Her gaze knew deep down that no amount of spinning could undo the damage. Trust, once broken, can never be fully repaired. And between them, it was gone. Rasheeda didn't slam doors or shout. She didn't curse or demand answers. She simply left, quietly, broken-hearted, and yet resolute in her decision. Yandy remained seated, the weight of what had just transpired sinking in. The cameras may have stopped, but the silence lingered. The silence spoke louder than any argument ever could. And in that silence, the sisterhood between Rasheeda and Yandy crumbled, not in a blaze of glory, but in a pile of ashes. Because the hardest truth of all isn't losing a friend. It's realizing you never truly had one.